G'day guys, welcome back to the farm on Farming Simulator 22, the Start From Scratch series on Hoyt Belleron. So it's March today, we've got a bit of cash in the bank. First things first, we'll take a look for any used machinery we can get. Nothing really. That trailer would be good if it was an auto stacker, but I don't really want to have to load that with pallets. And we're in the spring now, so it's time for us to plant the new field. And I think we're going to go with sunflowers today. I was thinking about canola, but it takes too long. We've got to wait until August to plant that. And cotton we could do again, but that feels like we're kind of cheating. So we're going to go with the sunflowers, and that's going to become one of our new productions as soon as it comes to the harvest time for that. We'll get the oil factory set up when we harvest. So we need to save up a bit of cash along the way so we can afford to do that when the time's right, but we need to go to the store today. So why are we going to the store, I hear nobody ask? Well, we need a new planter because the one that we currently own is far too small. And our new field is quite large, so we want to get the biggest machine possible that we can for the tractor size that we have. So we can't go any bigger than this one here, as our tractor can only take 205 horsepower, I think it is. So the next one's quite a big jump from 180 to 300, so we'll need a couple of bags of seed. I think we do have some lying around somewhere, but we'll just get a couple because they're cheap enough for us to just get. So it's quite a big machine there. So we hook up onto the edge so that we can tow it, and then when we come to use it, we actually hook up from the center. Okay, it doesn't take as much seed as I was thinking, so it's probably going to be a couple of trips, and it takes fertilizer as well, so that's going to save us from having to chuck manure or slurry down on the field. And it's also going to get the other coat of fertilizer done as we plant. We have already spread fertilizer on the field with the slurry, so this will be now fully fertilized after this, which is good. It's going to save us a big job. So she actually takes quite a lot more fertilizer than she does of seed. Would be nice if it was the other way around. Oh, don't want to crash into that. Yeah, I can see us using a lot more seed than fertilizer, but we might as well fill it all the way up just so we don't run out when we're up there. We'll probably have to come and pick up these seeds with the telehandler later and bring those over for a refill with the seed. She's a big piece of kit, this, so let's get her on up to the field and we're going to get this thing planted out today. Shouldn't take us too long, I don't think. Well, here we are on the field, so we'll just get this lined up like that, close to the edge. Hopefully it's about right. So we're going to hook ourselves up now in the center of it. And I haven't used this before, so just got to see how it goes. Looks fairly straightforward though. So I'll just line this up properly, and as you can see we've already got slurry down on the field, so we'll lower that, and we need to unfold the tool before it can be lowered. Okay, so we'll press X. There we go. Tires are up, wings are in. Lower down, turn it on, and let's get moving. And there we go, the texture change, which is good for us. We now know where we've been and what needs to be done. So yeah, it's a pretty big job. As you can see, the trees up top are starting to grow nicely, so we'll be getting into cutting those, but I'll do the cutting of those after the harvest because just for realism purposes I don't want to be dropping trees onto a new crop. And instead of time-lapsing, I've come up with a new idea. I'll just kind of throw some clips in of us doing the planting with a bit of music behind, so I hope you enjoy that. Okay, the planter's run out of seed now, so we'll need to take our telehandler down to the store and we'll go pick up those 2 extra bags and get over there and give it a refill. Okay, she's all full up. She's actually gone quite far on that 1 bag of seed, so I think 1 more is going to do it. We haven't even emptied 1 yet. So this should get us all the way to the end here now. Well, we're pretty much there. We've just got a couple of little spots that we've missed because somebody planted some trees that are a little bit too close to the boundary. And that's what happens when you use a worker. But that's alright, we don't mind. We'll just do the little tricky corners. It's no big deal. These trees are going to be a really good source of income for us eventually. And so is this sunflower field here. This is a huge amount of sunflowers. Going to get a whole heap of that. Struggling to think of where we're actually going to put the oil factory. I'm probably thinking up with the clothes factory as well. Just kind of turn that whole field into a production facility. That's probably our best bet. This piece of land has not really got any flat ground to it, so we can't really be trying to do any landscaping on this piece. Just the final touches now. Missed a few little spots where I was trying to get the most working width I could with the planter, but you know how it goes. Doesn't always line up perfect every time, and I think if I remember rightly I missed a small piece up here. There it is, just a very small patch, but still that's a couple of litres of sunflowers and we want those couple of litres. Don't know what these little streaks are on the field. Pretty sure I've fully fertilized everything, so maybe it's just a little bit of texture, but I'm pretty happy with that. It's taken us a little while to do the work, but she's done, and now it's just a case of leaving it until we can harvest. Well, the big job's done, so let's just double check on the map and make sure we have planted sunflowers right there. As we can see, there's a couple of small patches that we've missed with fertilizing, but that's not really a problem. That was probably missed from the slurry. So sunflowers are ready to harvest in October. So not really a great deal to do in between now and then. Do have to harvest the wheat again, but I don't know if I'll show a video of that because that's probably becoming quite a common thing. Now we don't want to return the planter just yet. We want to make sure we take our product out, otherwise we'll lose it. So we'll go down here and just dump that on the edge of our forest. That way it's not going to be hidden in the crop, and I'll probably run over it with the harvester if I leave it in the field because I don't really come by this place too much, so we can return that. And now we can jump into check our animals. Cows are, yeah, they're okay. That's about 2 days worth of food that they have. Chickens, yeah, again, got a couple of days worth of food. Getting quite old though, 60 months. But I don't really see the need to sell them. There's not really much point at this stage. Because if I get young ones, then they won't be producing eggs. And if they're just consuming a bit more food, it doesn't really matter too much. So we'll get the telehandler back over to the farm and we'll get rid of these bags. So we'll just dump these bags off behind the shed here. No real place for us to store bags at the moment. We could put them in the shed, but just easy enough to get them away from here. So are they going to drop off the forks for us? They are. If I ram them into the wall, that's perfect. So there can't be much left in one of those bags for sure. The one on the right looks very skinny. Probably, oh, watch out. Probably a little bit more in the one on the left there, but that's right. So we'll go park up. Got heaps of manure, as you can see. That's stacking up quite nicely. How are we doing for hay? We should be alright. Yeah, we've got a few bales there. Well, I think the cows are going to be alright for today. We'll sort them out another day. We're just going to check the finances quick. We are looking pretty good. We're at a loss today, but most days we're making good money. So let's just take a look at the statistics overall. Total seed used today, just over 1,000. Fertilizer, 34,000 litres of silage, fertilizer used in the whole series so far. That's heaps. Time played, 139.5 hours. Years, 15 years we've been going. It is a real slow start when you start from scratch. If you play easy mode, we would have probably owned the whole map by now. Contracts. I'm not really into doing contracts anymore. I don't think we need to. Like, for the purposes, I'm only recording this series for YouTube. If I was playing by myself for fun, then I probably would. I'd probably try and make as much money as possible, but we don't really need to. We are making money, and we don't need to try and own the whole map too quickly. So we're going to get the mowers all hooked up. We're a little bit low on hay, so let's go and produce a bit more. Okay, we've got our worker up ahead of us. He's got the windrower on, so we're going to have a little bit of a foot race, see who can beat who. Obviously I'm going to smoke him to get to the other field, but that's all good because I can get a little bit cut before he even gets there. How we're doing him on the hill. Come on, man. I suppose he's only in the lower Massey Ferguson. So here we are at the field. We've got a few pallets of clothing there ready, and we've got another pallet of fabric that needs to be moved. I was going to start chopping the grass over there, but I think we'll go back to the usual starting spot right next to the honey. I recently discovered that this mower actually creates a windrow of its own when you use it, and this whole time that I've been using it I have been windrowing it after I do the cut, so I've been wasting a lot of time doing that. But today we're making hay, so we actually have to use the tedder anyway, so we're just going to use it in its normal capacity and do a wide spread. And it looks like we're dragging a pallet of honey all the way with us. That's alright, we'll just have to put that back with the Massey Ferguson. We've got the front loader on there, so once we finish all the mowing and whatnot, we'll get that sorted out. But it's starting to take shape up here. This might be the last cut. Nice and easy. I do quite like doing the mowing. It's quite a nice calming job to do. It doesn't take too much stress. It's quite relaxing. Looks like, I think we're not really going to be using this field too much more after this. We might get one more cut from it, and then once we put down the oil factory, there's not really going to be much room for mowing grass. We're not going to be getting a great deal from it anymore. Okay, just doing the final little bits and pieces, all the tricky parts that we've missed. So we'll get these mowers folded up, and while we're up here, we've got the water blaster right there. We might as well have a clean up because these mowers are filthy, and the tractor probably hasn't been cleaned for a long time either. Doesn't get up here very often. But look at the state of these mowers. They're a real mess. Make them look brand new. They've done a fair bit of mowing actually, so definitely got our money's worth out of those. They're expensive bits of kit, but the amount of money that we've made back from silage and hay and everything, definitely worth investing in expensive mowers. And the fact that they actually windrow themselves, as I've just discovered recently, is massively sped up the process now when it comes to making the silage. Look at those mowers, they look brand new, straight out of the shop now. Nice and yellow and red. The Class tractor as well, nice and fresh. So we'll just drive on over to the road. I'll get a worker to drive this back to the cow farm, and then I can hook up the baler from there, and we'll go and get into the Massey, and we'll start doing the next stage. So we'll go into the menus, workers, go to, create job, go to, not field work please, don't start mowing this grass over here yet. So there's our farm there, start job. He'll be on his way. And what's the Massey up to? What are you doing? Trying to pick up that discoverable again. Let's get on up to the field, mate. Okay, time to start windrowing. Just think, this field we used to be our bread and butter. We used to make all of our money just off this field. That's probably why it took us 15 years to get to this point. Probably should have purchased a slightly bigger field in the beginning, but that's all good. We don't need to worry about it. We're there now. We're going to be buying fields left, right and centre in the next couple of years, so not really too much concern. But when you see how far we've come from what we started with, it's actually quite impressive now. I'm really happy with it. Well, we're going pretty good. Don't really need to be too fussy with it. It's just a few extra hay bales for the cows. But we should try and get what we can out of it. Might as well while we're here. Just don't need to be too precise. I don't think we're going to get a great deal of bales out of this field as it is anyway. Maybe 3 or 4. Just as we're driving up here, I can see the tedder in the shed and we are making hay. So I have absolutely possibly made a mess of this. And I might have to go back around with the windrower, but we need to do the tedding first to make hay. So, schoolboy error there. I was just lost in a little relaxation world of my own there and absolutely skipped a step. So now we're going to have to see. I'm hoping that the tedder will just windrow, kind of keep it in this windrow and just turn it over. But if it spreads it out back wide, because the tedder is quite wide, then we're going to have to run back around with the windrower, unfortunately. But live and learn. Got to be more on the ball there. So let's hook up and we'll see see how bad I've messed this up. Don't know if it's going to be as bad as I think. I just don't want it to spread out like it was in the beginning. So let's just see what happens if we lower this and turn her on. Oh yep, she's flicking it out everywhere. Oh, it's actually not too bad. That's a bit more narrow than I thought, but it's too wide for the baler. So I'm gonna have to get this windrowed up again after, so there's a waste of time right there, but don't stress too much about that. Well, I didn't want to have to make you suffer the windrowing again, so we got that all sorted out. And we'll put this thing up into the shed just quickly, and we'll might as well use the water blaster to clean up this tractor and the windrower as well. Again, they haven't been cleaned for quite some time. And the windrower I might actually sell. Actually no, I won't, because I'm still going to need it for hay. I was just thinking because of the mowers now making a windrow, but they won't be when we do hay. So we'll clean up the Massey. She's looking pretty worn out right now. She's done a lot of hours. She's been with us from the beginning. I don't think I'm ever going to sell it. It might as well be part of the series for life now. She's been a good horse. Okay, first bale's ready. Now it's a 6,500 litre bale because it still had a bit of grass in from the last time we were using it, so you can't change the setting in between, but the next ones from now on are going to be the biggest that we can. I think they're 180 centimetre bales. Should be a bit nicer. Well, there we have it. We got ourselves only 3 bales. We do have a little bit in the baler now, and we'll have some more after this row, but that will probably just be processed the next time that we mow the big grass field. We don't have any more space to store wool, so we'll have to jump into the Massey Ferguson while it's up here and use the pallet fork to get rid of some of that wool. We can take that over to our spinnery. But for now, that's the mowing done. So we've still got plenty of grass for the sheep. And we got ourselves a few extra bales now to take down to the cow shed. which will go towards their food. Should last us quite a while as well. But yeah, we got a bit of wool here stacked up, so we should shift some of this over so that the spinnery isn't going to run out. We are storing the wool. We're not using that right now in the spinnery because the cotton is still in use. So once that runs out, we can start using the wool again, but we've got heaps of cotton and I don't want to be using both. Might as well just use one at a time. It gives us a bit of a chance to stockpile up the wool because it doesn't happen as quickly. It takes a long time to process the wool. And we have another pallet of fabric as well ready for the clothing factories. We should throw that over there while we're here. And we're going to make quite a bit of money out of the clothing, I would say. I think that's ready in May for us to sell that stuff. Well, there we go, another 1,000 litres into the clothing factory. That's going to keep that process going. So 1,000 litres of fabric in there right now, only a little bit of clothing produced. How much do we have around the back? 4 pallets, so there's $40,000 sitting right there. And we still have 29,000 litres of cotton to get through. And we'll just keep piling the wool in there to let that build up while that cotton goes down. And then that way, we're not waiting around like we were before, because it takes 4 pallets of wool to make 1 pallet of clothing. We don't want to be waiting around. So the next big thing for us is going to be selling the clothes and harvesting the wheat for the chickens. I don't know if I'll bother showing the selling of the clothes. Might as well keep that just behind closed doors. Not really worth making an episode about that, but there's a bit of money there. So we're sitting pretty well with the cash. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. I'll see you in the next one.